Today, the world pauses to remember and reflect on the extraordinary life of President Russell M. Nelson, a man of heart, hope, and vision, who has passed away at the age of 101, leaving behind not only a grieving church but also a legacy that will be studied, remembered, and cherished for generations. Born in 1924 in Salt Lake City, Utah, Russell Marion Nelson lived through more than a century of history, witnessing wars, revolutions, pandemics, and incredible technological advancements. Yet he never lost sight of the two callings that defined his journey. First, as a groundbreaking heart surgeon who pioneered open-heart surgery in Utah and performed thousands of life-saving operations, and later as a spiritual leader whose compassion, wisdom, and courage guided millions of believers across the globe. His story begins as a young man driven by education and a desire to serve, completing his medical training at the University of Utah and the University of Minnesota, where he helped develop the heart-lung machine that would forever change surgical medicine, a contribution that alone could have been enough to secure his place in history. But for Nelson, the path of healing the body was only one part of his calling, and healing souls would become the greater mission of his life. In 1984, he was called as an apostle in the Quorum of the 12, a moment that marked the beginning of more than 3 decades of dedicated service at the highest levels of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And in 2018, at the age of 93, he became the 17th president of the church, proving that leadership is not defined by age but by vision and conviction. His presidency was marked by bold reforms and a pace of change that astonished even younger leaders, introducing ministering programs, adjusting Sunday worship schedules, renaming church entities to emphasize Jesus Christ, and launching an unprecedented global temple building program with over 200 new temples announced. Reflecting his vision of a worldwide church rooted in both tradition and accessibility, beyond administrative changes, President Nelson was known for his tender heart and deeply personal ministry, often speaking of joy, peace, and the importance of letting God prevail in our lives, messages that resonated not only with church members, but with countless others seeking spiritual direction in a troubled world. His life was also defined by resilience and personal faith, enduring the death of his first wife, Dancel, with whom he raised 10 children, and later finding love again with Wendy Watson, who became his partner in global ministry. Together they traveled extensively, meeting with leaders of nations, faith groups, and everyday members, always radiating warmth and humility. Nelson's leadership also extended beyond the church as he reached across boundaries to work with organizations such as the NAACP, urging peace, reconciliation, and unity in a world too often torn by division. His voice carrying the weight of both a physician who saved lives and a prophet who sought to heal hearts. Even into his 90s and 100s, he exuded an energy and determination that inspired millions, often joking about his age yet never slowing in his commitment, a reminder that purpose can fuel vitality. In his last years, even as his eyesight and physical strength declined, his spirit remained undimmed, delivering conference addresses that emphasized the most crucial question of all: to whom or to what will I give my life? Urging individuals to ground themselves in faith and service. His passing now marks the end of an era, and yet it also sparks reflection on what comes next, as the church prepares for new leadership while holding on to the values and principles Nelson instilled. The reaction to his death has been immediate and global, with tributes pouring in from religious leaders, medical colleagues, world figures, and millions of members who saw him not just as a president, but as a father figure, a healer, and a visionary. His journey from the operating room to the pulpit, from the quiet moments with family to the world stage, paints a portrait of a man who gave every ounce of his being to service, a man whose hands once literally held beating hearts and whose words later inspired hearts worldwide. As we reflect today, we remember his smile, his gentleness, his intellect, and his unwavering testimony of Jesus Christ, which he bore until the very end. Though the world has lost a leader, heaven has gained a servant whose life embodied love, sacrifice, and hope. And for those who knew him or were influenced by him from afar, his passing is not the end but an invitation to carry forward his vision of a world filled with compassion, faith, and peace. Because President Russell M. Nelson will be remembered not just for living 101 remarkable years, but for making every one of those years count in the service of humanity and God.